erratic dance. The onlookers could do little but watch the shield flash, their expressions increasingly laden with disappointment. Ding Qingyu addressed the group, shrugging. As you can see, the mecha is malfunctioning. I just checked the operating system, and the shield has been replaced, yet it remains in this state. I cannot resolve this. We'll have to wait for Master Fong to return and handle it. The two individuals nearby, though reluctant, found themselves equally at a loss. Shun Jiayan gradually approached the mecha and suggested, "Have you inspected the energy system of the mecha?" Ding Qingyu cast a sidelong glance at her, dismissively waving his hand. What does the energy system have to do with this? My mecha hasn't been used in over half a year. The day before yesterday, I specifically asked Master Fong to check the energy system before he left. Therefore, it's unlikely that the energy is the source of the problem. Shun Jiayan, holding the blueprint, looked at him and said, "This is indeed the construction diagram of this mecha, correct? I have reviewed its general structure, and it closely resembles that of the original Zero model. I am quite familiar with the original Zero, according to its design principles. We can eliminate the shield malfunction from three possibilities. First, an issue with the shield itself. Second, a malfunction in the connection ports. And third, the impact of the mecha's energy." Ding Qingyu, attentively touching the mecha, leaned in to listen closely. Once Shun Jiayan finished speaking, he looked at her in confusion. "You are wearing the uniform of the Alliance First Academy. Are you a student there?" "Indeed." Shun Jiayan nodded. Zhuang Yueza stepped forward to elaborate. "She has come to purchase my mecha." He paused for a moment, scratching his head, and, feeling somewhat embarrassed, glanced at Shun Jiayan. "Well, we have encountered a significant issue here. I initially intended to sell the mecha to raise funds for a master to assist in its modification. You heard our earlier conversation. If the master cannot come, I no longer need to gather funds. Hence, I have decided against selling my mecha. I sincerely apologize for wasting your time. I shall transfer some star coins to you as compensation." Shun Jiayan raised her hand to interrupt Zhuang Yueza, turning her gaze towards Ding Qingyu. "When is your competition scheduled?" Having reviewed the structural diagram of the mecha, she felt somewhat familiar with it and was eager to give it a try. Chapter 16. Disassembling and repairing the mecha. Others, noticing her inquiry, appeared hopeful that she might have a solution and looked at her with anticipation. Ding Qingyu glanced at the time flashing on the holographic screen and promptly replied, "I originally planned to depart around 4 o'clock. It's currently 3:15 in the afternoon. So there is just over an hour left." Upon hearing the time, Shun Jiayan frowned slightly. She picked up a diagram of the mecha and traced her finger over the energy chamber. Then, turning to Ding Qingyu, she asked, "May I open the cover of the energy chamber to take a look? I can give it a try, but I cannot guarantee that I can fix it." "Absolutely. Go ahead." Ding Qingyu had not even spoken when Zhuang Yueza excitedly interjected. Ding Qingyu shot an exasperated glance at Zhuang Yueza. "Whose mecha is this? Has the owner given consent?" "You are so eager to respond." Turning back to Shun Jiayan, Ding Qingyu said, "I will assist you in disassembling it. Please send me the maintenance data from 3 years ago and last week." As Shun Jiayan spoke, she skillfully approached a numerical control device. 300 years ago, such equipment was quite costly and primarily utilized for analyzing and recording various data of mechas. She aimed to focus on analyzing the mecha's energy system to substantiate her assessment. While Shun Jiayan adjusted the data, Ding Qingyu directed the robots to dismantle the mecha. Several disassembling robots swiftly maneuvered their mechanical arms. And soon the cover of the red-yellow mecha lying on the ground was completely removed. Upon seeing the mecha fully disassembled, Shun Jiayan extracted a sensor from the numerical control device and connected it to a specific interface on the mecha. Observing her deftness, the onlookers felt a significant weight lift from their chests. Typically, maintenance technicians would follow this exact procedure when inspecting and repairing mechas, and Shun Jiayan appeared to execute the movements even more swiftly than the technicians. At that moment, several red exclamation marks flickered on the transparent screen of the numerical control device, accompanied by a sharp alarm. Beep, beep, beep. This was merely a notification indicating abnormal data discovered during the inspection. Ding Qingyu gazed at the incomprehensible stream of data on the screen, eagerly looking at Shun Jiayan. "So, can it be repaired?" Zhu Yuanyao also held her breath, watching Shun Jiayan intently. Shun Jiayan had no time to respond. She noted down the concerning data and slowly began to compare it with the structural diagram of the mecha. After a while, she rubbed her eyes and stretched lazily before saying, "I have conducted an investigation and compared the data from several time periods. It is indeed as I anticipated. The energy system has encountered a malfunction. It appears that a component in the section connecting the protective shield from segment X76 to segment Y56 has failed." Zhuang Yueza promptly inquired, "How do we proceed with the repair?" "We simply need to replace the energy system within that range," replied Shun Jiayan. After glancing at the time, she noted it was now 3:50 p.m. Given the comprehensive equipment at hand, she believed she could manage to replace the system within half an hour. Although Shun Jiayan considered this the most straightforward approach, Ding Qingyu furrowed his brow in concern. He shook his head and said, "Replacing the energy system? That complicates matters. I do not have a spare energy system for this mech on hand. In previous instances where we needed to replace the energy system, we had to procure it from the star network and then wait for the manufacturer to ship it from another planet. The shortest delivery time takes at least half a day, and we simply do not have that time. Then there is nothing we can do," Shun Jiayan said helplessly, raising her hands in resignation. Upon hearing this, the expressions of those present fell into disappointment. Just when a glimmer of hope had surfaced, it was extinguished once more. Shun Jiayan approached the mech. With one readily available and the corresponding schematics at her disposal, she felt compelled to thoroughly observe the internal structure of the mech. Unable to resist, she operated the mech and dismantled several sections. This B-class mech indeed adhered to the principles she had devised for mech construction. Shaking her head with a sigh, she remarked, if only you had ample time, I could manipulate the equipment to systematically examine each component, identify the specific damaged part, and replace it. However, this process is quite time-consuming. I estimate it would take over 3 hours, and you do not have that luxury. Ding Xingyu looked at Shun Xiaoyun with confusion. Typically, a maintenance technician could utilize mental energy to diagnose an entire energy system in under 2 hours. How could it take you 3 hours to examine such a small segment of energy failure? How do you use mental energy to diagnose component failures? Shun Xiaoyun, equally perplexed, understood mental energy well. In her previous life, the research group next door specialized in this field, and she had assisted them while also testing her own mental energy. She recalled that the results indicated she possessed considerable mental strength. The leader of the mental energy research group even sought to recruit her, but at that time, her sole focus was on mech construction, leading her to decline the offer. After her mechs were completed, she had contemplated the application of mental energy in mech design. Yet upon returning 300 years later, she found that her envisioned mental energy mechs had not come to fruition. Regrettably, her recollection of the original owner's memories was incomplete. And as time passed, those memories grew increasingly vague. The concept of utilizing mental energy for diagnostic purposes was a complete blind spot for her, a relic of knowledge. Zhuang Yuezha exclaimed, aren't you a student of mech manufacturing or logistics maintenance? How do you not understand how to utilize mental energy? Shen Jiayan touched the back of her head and explained, oh, I forgot to mention, I am actually a student of mech combat. But rest assured, I excel at constructing mechs. The group fell silent at this revelation. Shen Jiayan operated various instruments with remarkable dexterity, possessing a profound understanding of mecha construction and fault diagnosis. Yet, astonishingly, she was not a major in mecha manufacturing. This raised questions about the reliability of her previous procedures. The others exchanged glances, each reflecting a sense of uncertainty. Ding Xingyu felt a pang of discomfort in his jaw. Ultimately, he decided to adhere to the adage of trusting those he employed, and in this dire situation, he resolved to proceed as if there were hope. He looked up at Shun Xiaoyun, who was tirelessly dismantling his mecha. Wait a moment. I will seek out Master Fong for the tutorial on mental link connection. Perhaps you can learn it. He then resolved to negotiate some additional time with the event organizers. Hoping it might not be too late, Shen Jiayan nodded, intrigued by the concept of mental link troubleshooting they had mentioned. She was eager to learn. Especially after returning to this era, her thirst for knowledge was insatiable. Captain, we are pressed for time. I will approach Master Fong for the tutorial, while you contact the event organizers. After Zhu Yuanyao spoke, she moved a short distance away to reach out to Master Fong via her light brain. 5 minutes later, with a furrowed brow and gripping her light brain tightly, Zhu Yuanyao approached Shen Xiaoyun, her expression laden with concern. The situation is rather grim. Master Fong indicated that only a select few with exceptionally strong mental powers can swiftly master the mental link box. His innate mental power is rated A, and it took him several months of training to learn how to diagnose mecha faults through the link box. Chapter 17. Taking one step at a time. Upon hearing Zhu Yuanyao's words, Shen Xiaoyun felt a flicker of confidence. Her mental power was undoubtedly formidable. She merely wondered if her rebirth would affect it. She set down the piece of metal she was holding and turned her gaze towards Zhu Yuanyao's light brain. Since you are at an impasse, let us give it a try. My mental power should suffice. Then you can use my light brain directly, Zhu Yuanyao said, shaking the device in her hand. She had just conveyed their predicament to Master Fong, who had promptly sent a simplified tutorial on mental link connections. Now, the tutorial had arrived. She opened the light brain and projected the screen, revealing a virtual display measuring 1 meter in length and width. A cartoon character, with a ponytail and wielding 2 wrenches, sprang to life on the screen. As Shen Xiaoyun gazed at the character, an inexplicable sense of familiarity washed over her. The character spoke in a voice she recognized, animatedly announcing, today's lesson is in 10 minutes. Shen Xiaoyun teaches you how to use the mental link box. Shen Xiaoyun's hand trembled, nearly choking on her own saliva. It dawned on her why the character and voice felt so familiar. The cartoon was designed based on her personal image by a friend from her previous life. She had even purchased the rights to use it as her avatar across multiple social media platforms. The voice was unmistakably hers from that life. Yet, she recalled that until her demise, the neighboring mental power research group had yet to discover a method for mental linking. Now, she found herself in need of learning about mental connections, questioning how anyone could develop a course to teach others to master the mental link box in just 10 minutes. The 2 individuals beside her regarded her with puzzled expressions. Shen Xiaoyun wiped her face and replied earnestly, Shen Xiaoyun died on the afternoon of August 17, 1037. During the Starshine calendar, right? At that time, there was no mental link box, was there? Is this tutorial even reliable? She was certain that no one understood better than her the year of her demise. The 2 individuals beside her regarded her with expressions akin to those reserved for a curiosity. Zhuang Yuezha remarked in astonishment. But your name is the same as Shen Xiaoyun's. Your family must hold her in high esteem. Didn't your mother buy you various books like 7 Days with Shen Xiaoyun, Become a Math Expert, The Study Master Shen Xiaoyun's Homework Book, Shen Xiaoyun's 1-month top-notch training method, or compilation of Shen Xiaoyun's high school mistakes when you were young? In truth, Shen Xiaoyun was merely a figure associated with the sale of books and materials. No one truly scrutinized whether she had ever utilized such resources. Zhuang Yuezha was perplexed. How could any child in the alliance have escaped the intellectual influence of Shen Xiaoyun? 2 years had passed, yet he still dreamed of tackling the errors listed in compilation of Shen Xiaoyun's high school mistakes. Now I understand, Shen Xiaoyun thought, gazing upward with a sigh. What a pity she died so young. Otherwise, just from what Zhuang Yuezha has said, she ought to have earned various royalties, licensing fees, usage fees for her voice. And Portrait writes, there must be countless fees she could claim that she didn't even